It's the old guy here. It's porch sitting time again. It's a little breezy out, nice spring May Sunday, and there's a lot of spring festivals going on around little towns around Still River, especially this one, which is a upscale little town over towards Connecticut, over towards where they call the Gold Coast, and it is a lot of gold around here. And they're having a nice soiree down the road with balloons, picnic, food, barbecue, folk singing, and line dancing, and kids stuff. And it's just a downtown spring fair day here. And well, springtime brings out all the lunatics. And well, Daryl, years ago, Daryl and Rob, two brothers, the Wojciechowski brothers, they had an uncle they nicknamed him Uncle Wahoo Wojciechowski, and there's a whole story behind that. Well, they went to their father's old shop in the back of where he lived, and he was the last living blacksmith and steam fitter, and he was in the Navy, and he was a Navy diver, and he made a little two-man submarine. And well, Daryl and Rob, they got the little submarine out. They knew how to work it because before Wahoo passed away, he showed them how to run it. And they got it all cleaned up and on the trailer and everything, and they put a big fin on the top, welded this big fin on the top, put a big shark's face on the front with the teeth. And they're out practicing out at the town park in the water with the mini sub. It only goes down about 2 feet. But, you know, they can make it so it goes down maybe about less than a foot or less, and the fin and the top sticks up like a shark. And they can make it come up nose first if they blow the tanks right. And the nose comes up with the teeth first and everything, you know. So they were out there and going back and forth, and they took it down it didn't go down maybe 5 or 6 feet. And they had wetsuits on and tanks. And the water's still a little bit cold in May, you know. It isn't Memorial Day yet, but it's coming soon. They're practicing for the Memorial Day celebration at downtown and at the park, and they're gonna, you know, they're practicing for 4th of July also, where they ride the thing back and forth in front of the town park. And old Mr. Misnicky's out in his rowboat fishing, and they were down there, and they hooked him. And Mr. Misnicky, you know, for some reason, his whole life, he thought he was going to catch a really big fish. And he always used, like, for freshwater, but he would use like a saltwater rig with like 25-pound test line on it. And they picked up his line and bait and hooked on the back of the sub. And, you know, his rod goes down and bends, and he's like, finally, he's got the big one, you know. And like, he's so excited, his heart starts to pound, you know. And but the line won't break, you know, and he's holding the rod. He's got it in the rod holder, and it's towing the boat around too, you know. And they come up a little bit, so the fin sticks out, and he's there. My God, I got a freshwater shark, you know. And he's like so excited that, you know, he goes into cardiac arrest. Poor Mr. Misnicky, you know. They came up and they saw him laying in the boat with his arms out and his chest pounding, and they called 911, and they did revive him. They got him in. But old Mr. Misnicky's not going to be able to go out in a rowboat too much anymore. So that's springtime in Still River here, and in the Still River. Port City. Season has started.